Last Sunday, a preacher in my town pointed at a man in the church and calmly said, "Tomorrow, you will die." Everyone laughed. We thought it was some kind of sick joke. But the next morning, that man was found dead. The week after that, the preacher pointed at someone else, and they died too. Now, people in my town are terrified to go to church because every Sunday night, the preacher of death chooses someone new. And last week, he pointed at me and said, "Tomorrow night, you belong to him." I grew up at a small town in rural Kansas, the kind of town where nothing ever happens. One grocery store, one gas station, one church. At least, that's how it used to be, until the man people now call the preacher of death arrived. No one saw him come into town. No car, no bus, no luggage. One morning he was just there, standing on the steps of the old abandoned church. That church had been empty for almost 15 years. No pastor, no sermons, just dust, broken pews, and silence. But that morning, the doors were open, and the preacher was waiting. Tall, thin, wearing an old black suit. His skin looked pale, almost gray, like he hadn't seen sunlight in years. But it was his eyes that made people uncomfortable. They were completely black. No white, just black. Still, people came. Small towns are curious places. When something strange happens, everyone wants to see it. The first sermon started at sunset. The church was packed. Farmers, teachers, families. Even the sheriff was there. The preacher stood behind the old wooden pulpit, hands folded, smiling slightly. Then he said something strange. "I am not here to save you. I am here to prepare you." People looked at each other. Some laughed, some whispered, but no one left. Then the preacher slowly looked across the room and pointed to a man in the front row. "Tomorrow," he said quietly, "you will die." The man laughed. Everyone laughed. His name was Daniel Harper. He owned the local auto shop. Healthy, strong, only 42 years old. The next morning, Daniel Harper was found dead in his garage. Heart attack. No warning. No history of heart problems. Just dead. After that, people stopped laughing, but they still came to the sermons every Sunday night, because now everyone wanted to know one thing: who would be next? The second week, the preacher pointed at a woman near the back. "You will not see the sunrise." That same night, she crashed her car on Highway 16, dead at the scene. Week after week, the same thing happened. The preacher would point, and someone would die. Accidents, heart attacks, fires, disappearances, always within 24 hours. The town became terrified, but nobody stopped going. Because deep down, everyone hoped they would hear their name. And if they did, maybe they could run. Maybe they could escape it. I didn't believe any of it. Not at first. Until the night he pointed at me. The church went completely silent. "You," the preacher said, "you will die tomorrow night." My stomach dropped. People around me moved away, like I was already a corpse. I left the church shaking. I locked every door in my house. I stayed awake the entire night. Nothing happened. Morning came. Then afternoon. I started to think. Maybe the preacher had finally been wrong. Then night fell. And that's when I heard the knocking. 3 slow knocks on my front door. I didn't move. Then I heard a voice. the preacher's voice. Death is here. My heart was pounding. I grabbed my shotgun and opened the door. But the preacher wasn't alone. Standing behind him was something else. Something tall. Too tall. Its body was twisted, like broken bones under stretched skin. Its arms were long, almost dragging on the ground, and its mouth was full of teeth. The preacher smiled at me. This is why I preach, he said. So, it knows who to take. The thing behind him stepped forward. Its mouth opened wider, wider than any human mouth should. I fired the shotgun. The blast echoed through the street, but the creature didn't fall. It just screamed, and the preacher laughed. I ran. I ran into the woods behind my house, and I didn't stop until morning. When I finally came back, the preacher was gone. The church was empty again, like nothing had ever happened. But people are still dying in that town. Every Sunday, and sometimes late at night, people say they see a man in a black suit standing outside the church, waiting for the next sermon, waiting for the next name.